Can you not just double your input every time you gamble until you win? You would need infinite money and a no-limit game. And in the end, all you win is a recoup of your losses. The house loves people like you. And at what point there so you start making money, the profit margin decreases to closer to zero net gain every time you bet. So eventually you're bettering thousands of dollars for a 5,050 shot at a chance of a 1 total payout. If you are wondering, for example, how many times odds can come up before even, I've seen 10 in a row. There's an old line. Casinos have a word for people with systems. Welcome. There are table limits. If you don't win your bet before hitting that limit, you're toast. First, the casinos impose limits for minimum and maximum bets. If you're at a table where you can bet 4, then your maximum is probably about 500. You can't bet any higher unless you find a seat at a different table with a higher limit. Second, you need a bankroll. Just the 10 bets you listed for to 548 requires a bankroll of 4,092. It's double your biggest bet, less the amount of your first bet. If you want to go for 20 bets in a row, you'd need huge money. 4 equals 22, 8 equals 23, 1,024 equals 210, 2,048 equals 211, so you're looking to fund another 10 bets, up to 221 equals 2,097,152, requiring a bankroll of about 4.2 million. The dice, wheel, cards or other mechanism doesn't remember that it lost 10 times or 19 times in a row. Every time the game plays it starts with fresh odds. Unless you are finding a defect in the game, then you should logically think that the event happening 19 times in a row might be slightly more likely to happen again. While that's a pretty huge risk just for 4, what if it hits red 15 times in a row? Yeah, would be pretty fuck. Einstein actually suggested this roulette strategy apocryphally. Even assuming there is no table maximum and you have a huge bankroll, when you win, which you do most of the time, you win the table minimum, say 5. But when you lose, which is more rare, you lose basically everything. The expected value is still negative. But of course, there are table maximums to speed your loss. If you had the kind of money you'd need to survive the losing streak, you wouldn't be bothering trying to make money with the small initial bets. Not worth your time. As long as you have infinite money, yes. But what happens if you keep losing over and over and over again? If your 100k bet fails, do you have 200k in the bank to get it back? If that fails, do you have 400k? Etc, etc, etc. The casino has way more money than you, meaning they can survive a losing streak way longer than gamblers can. Even without table limits, this number gets very big very quickly. You say just bet 20 times, and you'll win almost every time. Well, that's great until you realize that by the 20th bet you have to be able to front $22 million on top of the $22 million you already spent getting to this point. And if you win, you ultimately only gain 4 from it. You'll be better off using that same money strategy to buy the SB once a week. Anything you can think of, Big Casino already has as well, and made rules about it to keep stealing your money. Gambling and expecting to get rich is like smoking cigarettes to look like a movie star. Basically infinite money, you sweet summer child. If it were possible to reliably beat the house using such a simple strategy, casinos would not exist, because it would be an unsustainable business model. And yet casinos are wildly successful. What does that tell you? I once walked into a casino, sat down at a blackjack table with a 10 min. I lost 20 hands in a row, and I am pretty good at blackjack, so this strategy would have cost me a lot of money. Edit. I did not have 5,242,880. I did this on an online casino thinking I was treading new ground. 9013 the ego. It works great if you're okay with knowing you're using all your money to hedge hundreds of bets and know when to stop. Yes, this is a real story. Yes, I feel bad for losing it. However, the 90 came from patiently collecting the site's daily bonus. I didn't lose a dime. You, sir, are what casino managers dream about. I'm amazed that no one here has pointed out the real problem with this. There are no games that have perfectly 5,050 odds. Roulette is being regularly referenced here, but roulette doesn't have perfect 5,050 odds for red vs black because of this and increasingly present in spaces. The house always has an advantage. Always. It will work if you have a limitless amount of money, but doubling constantly gets to big numbers really fast, so if you have a good losing streak, you'll be bankrupt really quick. I came up with the same strategy. I did a computer simulation, and at some point, you hit a streak of 10 loses or more and you were fucked and lose everything. Also, in the simulation, I was not in a significant profit in any time. In casino, you win by leaving. Couple issues. Available funds most probably can't sustain going on 10 loses in a row. Too many tables have maximum bets which you may place, thus once you hit it you can't keep going. They do. It's the reason there are so many fancy casinos in Las Vegas that are basically money printing machines for the owners. That's why there's table limits. And don't be surprised when it lands on red 50 times in a row. If you start at 1 betting on a 4-1 outcome, and continue to double your previous stake, and betting at 4-1 until you do win, you will eventually win back double your total outlay plus 2. However, you need to have bank to start this, as the cumulative outlay starts to mount quickly. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, that's 5 bets, and you're at 63 outlaid already. And some betting facilities like Keno, the Australian version, which offers 4-1 on evens as in 10 from the first 40 and 10 from the last 40, have detection software that flags this betting pattern. It stops terminal operators putting on unpaid speculator bet speed. Because that's how you lose all your money.